This is East Carolina Hall of Famer and Utah Jazz first-round draft pick Blue Edwards. You're listening to Pirate Basketball Overtime on the Sports Objective, your home for the best East Carolina hoops coverage.
Welcome. You have entered the home of the ECU Pirates. Pirate Nation, stand up and put your hooks in the sky. Let's make this competition feel what it's like to be surrounded. Y'all with me? Come on. Yeah. Let's get it started. Get your hands at your pocket. Turn up the volume. We're the bomb and you're the target. It's on. Mind blowing with the whatnots. Doing everything but stop. Trust dog, y'all ain't ready for this. High powered ECU's on fire.
Want to give a shout out to the track and field assistant coach, and Udon Cheek, of course, was a big time star back in the day. That's his music there. Want to give him a shout out. Thank you, sir, for letting us use that music. With us right now, speaking of great Pirates, Bubba Rosenbaum, how are you?
Doing well, Dave. Hope you are. I'm glad you had a fun but uneventful trip, I guess you could say, and safe travels to the western part of the state, Greensboro last night. And Dr. Bream, John will be frustrated, but to be honest, I just got busy and forgot that last night was the night for his big Christmas party over in Greensboro. But would have loved to have made it. But Stacy's a little under the weather, so I probably wouldn't have been able to make it anyway.
Great time, thanks to John. He's a great pirate. Pirates know how to party and have a good time. Everybody was safe, no trouble whatsoever. Great band, a cassette rewind. Looking forward to seeing them in July. It's going to be great in Greenville. We'll have that show for you. Big night, afternoon rather, 62-52 yesterday, being Saturday afternoon. Pirates beat the Gardner Webb Runnin Bulldogs, and of course Tim Kraft does a great job with that program, and of course was assistant for a number of years for Lebo and was on that CIT run. Did a great job for the Pirates, so appreciate them coming in. Bubba, the game, it was even with Championship Saturday going on, I was watching games. I had football and basketball, and it was like a sports bar here in the living room yesterday. I tell you what, the Pirates come out. It was a tale of two halves. They played a lot better the second half, right?
Yeah, it really was a tale of two halves. And you looked at it. We got outscored, and we were down 27-23 at halftime, and we really struggled in the entire first half for the most part, offensively. Defensively, it wasn't too good either for the first 8, 9, 10 minutes of the ball game. Coach Dooley referenced that in his post-game remarks. We'll have some of those for you here shortly. But Coach Dooley said he felt early on when things weren't going well offensively. Gardner Webb playing very tough man-to-man defense, and we had some issues getting shots off, quite frankly. But he felt like our offensive struggles were carrying over to the defensive end. But he thought the last 10 minutes of the half, we were pretty solid defensively. And the last 30 minutes of the game, we were pretty solid on the defensive end. And that's really what enabled us to win by 10 points, 62-52, is because of how well we rebounded and then also how well we were playing on the defensive end. And, Dave was leaving me solo to do a monologue there for our live viewers.
Thanks to my daughter's cat. She jumped on my laptop and knocked it off. I don't know what she hit, but it made it do that. So apologize to viewers right now. If you're listening, you won't know what I'm talking about. It's all good. But sorry about that. Sorry about it. But that's it was a saying, nothing like live television.
Yeah, we have a cat covering our screen and knocking you off for just a few minutes there, and then
all you can do is laugh.
Reese or Riley blowing a whistle in the background. We are live, folks, if there was any doubt. But
nothing like kids and animals always upstage. Like no matter what you're doing, they upstage everything. So
kind of going back to recapping the game. We'll dive into some of our game notes because I know this will be a little bit of abbreviated episode because both of us have things going on this afternoon, but we still wanted to talk about what was the Pirates' 7th win of the season, getting to 7-2 overall, 6-0 at Williams Arena Minges Coliseum. And then the Pirates have now won 13 of their last 15 non-conference games overall, be it home or away. And East Carolina dating back to early to mid-December of 2019, has won 15 straight non-conference games at Minges Coliseum. The last time we lost, Dave, I'll give you a guess. It's a game that you remember well, and it's one that Coach Dooley was very ticked off about because of our lackluster performance for a second consecutive game on the defensive end of the court. We were coming off, I think it was a 99-89 loss to James Madison, and then we lost to this team.
Was it Coppin State?
You're correct. It was Coppin State. I think it was either 85-75 or
that sounds right. Yeah,
I think that's right. It was 85-75 or 95-85. I think it's 85-75.
85-75.
Yeah.
And I remember that press conference very well. But even the media, the thing that people don't realize is how special our media is. It's not like the typical media. Most of the people in the room that are part of the media have some kind of ties and connections to ECU. It's not like they're just working for, some of them are working for local media outlets. But anyway, my point being is that they care about the program tremendously. Even the people that are non-Pirates, if you will, covering the Pirates, love ECU. And that night was, wow. I remember that very well. You know, I'm not going to say specific names, but I remember people in that room, how upset they were that the Pirates just didn't play that well that night. And it showed. And if you don't play well, it doesn't matter who's on the front of the jersey, as they say, they can beat you. And that's what happened. And Coppin State is a good team, more than what people realize. I'm not saying that they're a top 25 team, but nor are we. And we don't have any, there should never be, when it comes to ECU basketball, we should never take anybody for granted, right?
No, can't take anyone for granted. It is a game. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a game that we're certainly supposed to win, but at the same time, there's been a lot of games down through our history that we're supposed to win and have not won. So keep that in mind. Even when you have a disappointing performance, we still found a way to get it done, much like we did yesterday. And Gardner Webb, they were battle tested. I mean, their first three games, they lost a heartbreaker in the opener out at UNLV, and then they were blown out by Duke. But Duke, obviously,
top 5 team this year.
Yeah, top 5 team in the country, was recently number 1 before Ohio State knocked them off, and that was a game that was competitive for a decent amount of the first half, and then Duke just blew the doors off after halftime. Got on a run there at Cameron Indoor Stadium, as they often do, and won going away. But then Gardner Webb had also played out at Arkansas in front of about 18 or 19,000. And in that one, I think they lost by 16. And so they were pretty competitive against Arkansas, who's a top 15, top 20 caliber team this year, and obviously a very solid program historically. But going back to your point, as far as it being a tale of two halves, our first lead in the game, East Carolina did not lead until the 16:58 mark of the second half. Like I mentioned, we were down 27-23 at halftime, and then I believe we knocked down a 3 there at the 16:58 mark to go up 33-31. And then our largest lead came in the final minutes, 62-49.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where the good news is, we have a comment from Johnny Gardner we'll get in a second, but the good news is that this team, Bubba, in the past, you brought up Coppin State, which makes a great point for me, is the fact that this team in the past, a game like yesterday, we would have lost. No chance, just like with football. But Dooley's got them. I don't know. I told you guys in a group text yesterday. Did you notice that? Like, whatever those coaches said to them at halftime, it looked like the light bulbs went off and they played better. But this team, even though they're not playing well at times, they're still winning. And as Johnny's saying here on Facebook, we're finding a lot of different ways to win, which will hopefully help us in conference play. He's absolutely right. And you look at it, I tell you, Bubba, one of the takeaways I had for the game yesterday, I don't know about you, but I tell you, the kid that I really love, the incoming freshman, I love RJ Felton. I love his game. He's a nice addition. We heard about him, but you know how it goes, Bubba, with football and basketball, baseball, recruiting. You hear all the hype and you wonder, it's not like I'm discounting him or anybody else, but you always wonder, like the old Public Enemy song, don't believe the hype. Well, you should believe the hype. That kid is very special. I hope we can keep him around all 4 years. By however long we have him, he is a great player out of, I believe, outside of South Carolina, right, Bubba?
Yep, R.J. Felton is out of Aiken, South
Aiken,
Carolina,
that's
and
right.
and I'm certainly not going to call any names, but to your point, as far as not knowing what you have and what you're working with until you get them on campus, obviously that's always the case to some extent. But down through the years, and we've had some pretty highly touted basketball recruits, and you've heard top 100, top 150,
Yep.
and then like I said, I'm not going to call anybody out because I appreciate everything they did for the Pirates and they had their moments, but on the whole, were somewhat of a disappointment. But I remember a couple of those types of players coming out of high school, and then they get to campus, and it's almost like they can't even dribble, but or knock down a wide open perimeter shot where they have enough time to stand there and line it up and spin the ball a couple times. But yeah, Coach Dooley and this staff are recruiting tremendously well, and I'm very excited. When you think about it, guys like Alexis Reyes, Tay Mosher, some of the guys who have been very promising in practice from everything we've heard, they have not seen an abundance of time, and that's a good thing because the guys who've been there, the Tristan Newtons, the TRWs, Brandon Suggs, etc., are playing the way they're supposed to be playing, and they're developing and getting better and better all the time.
No doubt about it. And with Felton, he's a bucket away from having double figures, which that would be 3. We definitely had the 3, almost 4 players in double figures. And you're talking about the quality of time. I mean, Bubba, another thing that I was happy to see, and maybe it was not what they wanted to, but it looks like that we played, if my memory serves me right, looking at the stats last night, I believe we had 9 players we played, which is the number of minutes. We love Jaden Gardner, but man, Jaden had played nearly 37 minutes, 38 minutes a game. And if we go into overtime, oh my goodness, it's over 40. But these guys, the quality of players we're getting now, we can shuffle guys in and out. I really like that. I think that's going to, when Johnny was talking about conference play, I think that's going to help us win a whole bunch of conference games that I'm not saying we're top of the conference, but I don't think we're going to be dead last as we were picked.
Not at all. I would be stunned if we finish 11th in this conference, or I guess maybe 12th, I should say. But yeah, whatever. I'll be stunned if we finish dead last in this conference. But looking at some of those individual numbers, you mentioned the minutes, so I'll go ahead and touch on that before I put some of the other individual stats on the screen. But we had 2 guys out of the 9 we played play in excess of 30 minutes. So you had Brandon Suggs play 34, yep. Vance Jackson played 31. Then you had Tristan Newton, 26, J.J. Miles, 24, Brandon Johnson, 23. And then you had R.J. Felton, 19, Tremont Robinson White, 18, and Luigi DeBow, 18. But going to some of those individual numbers that stood out, and Pirates had 3 guys scoring double figures. J.J. Miles, it was nice to see him after he's been battling a leg injury and had played not his best, and we'll say that over the last 2 or 3 games. But J.J., 15 points, 5 out of 9 from 3, was really hot in the first half. And then you had Brandon Suggs. He did a nice job of getting to the free throw line and converted 6 out of 9 from the charity stripe, 12 points for Brandon, and also 12 for Tristan Newton, who just continues to put double figures up each and every night. He also had 4 assists. R.J. Felton had those 8 points in 19 minutes, like we mentioned. And Luigi DeBow in 18 minutes pulled down what I haven't confirmed this, but I would say is probably a career high in his time at East Carolina with 11 rebounds. And then leading the way for Gardner Webb, you had Sears with 12, and also Terry had a nice night, 11 points, 5 rebounds, also 3 assists and 3 steals.
I'll tell you what, Bubba, the first half made me think about those 2 guys with Sears and Terry. I said, man, those guys could get 30 each. They're throwing those long, oh my God, those long threes. And but the Pirates did a better job, I think, for the most part. The second half, there was a stretch of possessions there. Down towards the stretch. I'll tell you another thing, Bubba, by the way, I give the Pirates always a hard time in the past about free throws. down the stretch, especially in the second half, if my memory serves me right, we really did a nice job of free throw shooting, and that was really, to me, that's what really helped us out in the game.
We certainly did. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that we were 6 out of 6 in the final minute. During because they were about the last 25 or 30 seconds. I think we just dribbled it out.
Yeah, we
but,
had.
But
Yeah, the first half we were 5 out of 7 for 71%, and we had in the second half we had 9 out of 11, 82%. So for the game, 77.8%. I'll take that, Bubba. How about you?
Yeah, that's definitely a winning number, as Coach Dooley would say. 14 out of 18 for 78%, essentially. Yep. Now, we'll go ahead and go over the other team numbers very quickly.
Okay.
The Pirates shot 37.5%, 21 out of 56. We're just 25% from three, which is atypical for this team, but solid defense and rebounding, they were able to overcome it. Also getting to the line more regularly than they had done in the victory over Old Dominion. I would talk about the rebounding. The Pirates out rebounded the Bulldogs 41-32. 11 assists for the Pirates, 11 for Gardner Webb, and turnovers were also an issue. Once again, a number that you would certainly like to see, down to about 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. I think that was what we were averaging prior to these last couple of games. But I think we had 15 against Old Dominion and 16 yesterday afternoon against Gardner Webb. And then you see defensively, the Pirates limited Gardner Webb to 7 out of 28 from three. And I think probably 4 or 5 of those makes for Gardner Webb were in the first 8 minutes of the ball game. So,
correct.
So from that point on, they probably went something like 2 out of 20 from three. And just 34.5% overall from the floor, 5 out of 8 from the line. And then obviously it tells you that you did a pretty good job of playing defense without fouling. And Gardner Webb finished tonight with 13 turnovers.
Yeah, they like I said, the Pirates, I think they woke up in the second half because it was just especially miserable the first part of the game if you're a Pirate fan. But I felt like, Bubba, the overall that with this team, I wouldn't say this in the past, but I felt more confident about this team. I said the guys will get it together, and we have more talent than they do, but they do have the 3-point shooting that can make it a factor. That was true early on, but like you said, they didn't do they didn't shoot very well in the second half, including the 3-point shooting was or most of the game for that matter. So good job for the Pirates. I know that you had some comments from Coach Joe Dooley that you wanted to read.
Indeed, Coach, after the game, Joe Dooley said, I thought our offensive inefficiency led us to be really bad defensively in the first part of the game. Our effort at the end of the half really energized us. We did a much better job guarding in the first part of the second half. There were some stretches where the ball was stuck offensively. Credit Gardner Webb for some of that with their defensive pressure. We didn't shoot it great, so that impacted us as well.
Yeah, we normally, as we've experienced and we've jokingly talked about, it's a good problem to have when the team is up 28-29. And not that I thought it was going to be like that with Gardner Webb. I mean, with the coach they have and the players are getting us a different caliber of team. However, I thought we would have a much bigger lead. And I thought that it would be where we were, what the problem has been this year has been how to finish, and how do you handle a lead? How do you handle the other team coming back on you where maybe they get 2 or 3 threes back to back to back. And then you're like, wow, all of a sudden this ball game. But anyway, we're very excited about this team. And I know, Bubba, that like you said, we're running tight on time. So we wanted to at least do a show because this is your home for the best East Carolina hoops coverage right here for Pirate Basketball Overtime. As I have cats jumping up behind me, I'm trying not to be distracted. But it's just one of those days, man. I just want to throw my hands up in the air. But a good time to plug what we have coming up tonight. By the way, I know this is a basketball show, but want to remind fans tonight, if you're watching this live, don't forget, we'll probably about 8 o'clock, right, Bubba? We'll have the tonight, 7, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. We'll have our bowl selection show where we're going to be talking about bowls, and we'll be talking about, that'll be cool to those of us that are big college football fans. That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, that'll be somewhere in the 8 or 9 o'clock hour, like you mentioned. Got my church family, and we're headed to our church Christmas party. Is what I was trying to say, and that will be from 5 to 7. And so somewhere in that 8 or 9 o'clock hour, the Pirates will be finding out, whether it's Virginia Tech. Here lately, there's been a lot of folks saying that it's UVA, Bronco Mendenhall's swan song, and then some are still projecting BC. So I don't know, outside of the bowl itself and the conferences, and maybe Coach Houston and whoever the opposing coach is, what anybody in the media knows, but seems like it's just a shot in the dark. So we shall see here in a few hours, and we'll have that, and we'll take a look at what happened on Championship Saturday, and also take an early look at some of the other bowl games and intriguing matchups from around the country. And that will be sometime in the 8 or 9 o'clock hour. So the easiest thing to do, just make sure you follow us, like our Facebook page, and then also be sure to subscribe on YouTube and click the bell to turn on the notifications. That way, as soon as we go live, you'll be notified. And we'd love to have you tuning in and chiming in. Send us your comments on Facebook and YouTube.
No doubt about it. Don't forget Thursday night special programming. We have the chair of the Board of Trustees, a friend and fan of the show, Scott Shook, will be with us on Thursday night. So we'll be talking about all kinds of different things, including they did a great job. We're giving a big shout out to the Board of Trustees again. When they do stuff right, we're gonna say it right here. That's what the show is called, the Sports Objective. And certainly we're being objective when we say how great a job they did. We'll give them big kudos to get the job done when it comes to Coach Mike Houston's contract. We appreciate that very much. Also want to remind you, as far as Tuesday night is the next home game for the Pirates, and we want to make sure that you go there. They're taking on when I say in-state foe, I should say, North Carolina A&T, and they always have a proud tradition of basketball. That's going to be at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, and it'll be on ESPN Plus. We have our good friends Patrick Johnson and Cy Seymour, and of course on the radio side of things, our friend Jeff Charles. I haven't had a chance to meet Coach Michael Perry, but he's done an excellent job of breaking down the game. I had a chance to listen to the broadcast and watch it as well yesterday. So kudos to radio and television for a great job they're doing. One more thing, Bubba, before we get out of here, want to remind fans like Bubba and Kyle, they've got their bowl tickets. The Rosenbaums and the Barbers have it. You need to do so too. You could just simply go to ECUPirates.com for the Military Bowl. That's going to be December 27th at 2:30. As we told you, we don't know the opponent yet, but go ahead and get your tickets. $1-800-ECU. Right now, though, you can go on the weekends. If it's not in business hours, Monday through Friday, just simply go to ECUPirates.com and you'll find out all the information there. And remember, all that ticket money, I think it's up to $250,000, stays with East Carolina, and that's a great thing. All right, Bubba, do you have anything?
That is correct regarding the 250,000 number with the ticket sales through ECU, be it obviously ECUPirates.com or $1-800-ECU, like Dave just mentioned. And then the only other thing I had earlier, you had referenced a comment from Johnny Gardner on Facebook, so I wanted to get to that. And he said we're finding a lot of different ways to win ball games, which will hopefully help in conference play. I mean, and that's certainly very true. We've won blowing folks out. Where we've had such a large lead that we've had to withstand a little bit of a run in the second half, and then also games like the last three where you had a double-digit lead and then had to hang on and win by one possession or a few possessions in the final minute, and then a game like last night where you trailed for the first 20-plus minutes of the game, and then we're able to make the plays necessary in the second half to get things done and actually convert free throws and be pulling away down the stretch.
And Bubba, I've got breaking news, football related. Both of us will want to know this. And I'm sure a lot of Pirate Nation. Louisiana has a new coach. I just got this on my phone. They promote the promoted co-offensive coordinator. Help me out, Bubba. This is a Cajun name. Is it Michael Desmareau?
I'd have to double check. I hope
I'm saying that right, but forgive me if I'm not. But I want to make sure that fans know. So Louisiana has a new coach. That's a nice tease before we got to here. We'll talk more about that as the story develops and we can read more about it. Bubba, Kyle, Matt, maybe we'll get our friend Terry Gallagher. But we've got a lot of people that will be watching and participating tonight, and love to have you too. All right, Bubba, I appreciate you, buddy, for all the stuff that you do behind the scenes and all the help. Pirates again get the big win. East Carolina 62, Gardner Webb 52. Pirates are now 7-2 on the year. Your home for the best East Carolina hoops coverage is right here on Pirate Basketball Overtime. Good day, everybody, and see you later. Go Pirates.